Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. My name's Neil and it's time for another episode of Would I Lie to You? Man, I'm loving this show and I'm realizing it's not just because of one particular comedian, it's just the whole format. So much of it is just the interplay back and forth between David Mitchell and Lee Mack. They're great, sort of an odd couple, polar opposite type, northerner, southerner, posh, more middle class. But yeah, I just find I find their witty banter back and forth to be hilarious. And in this particular episode, I'm going to be checking out somebody new. I'm familiar with James Acaster back from season 7 of Taskmaster, where his big shtick, as I remember, was that he refused to acknowledge Alex Horne at all in any task. But I also remember him being a good competitor and being quite funny, so I'm looking forward to seeing him here. His name has certainly been recommended to me enough by you, the viewers, and I was a little surprised to see that he only made his first appearance on Would I Lie to You in Series 11. I suppose he is a newer comedian in the scene. Maybe he's only just relatively recently made it to national prominence, but he does seem to be someone who's made a fast fan base, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to offer. What I understand is he does have some particularly crazy stories. Hopefully we'll get to hear one or two of them in this episode. So again, this is episode 3 from series 11 of Would I Lie to You, featuring James Acaster.
On David Mitchell's team tonight, an actress who once worked as a children's clown. She went from huge feet to cold feet. It's Faye Ripley. A DJ whose radio show is aimed at young, hip and with it people. I would listen, but it clashes with the Archers. It's Melvin Adoom. The presenter who once competed for Wales in gymnastics. She literally bent over backwards for her country. It's Gabby Logan. The comedian whose first job was selling ice creams. I bet he made hundreds and thousands. It's James Acaster.
I now know what hundreds and thousands are. Sprinkles, sprinkles, sprinkles.
I once spent the night in a bush in Basingstoke.
My parents actually lived in Basingstoke for a couple of years.
I missed my train.
Where do you live?
Well, at the time, I lived in Kettering in Northamptonshire. At the time, I had no money in my wallet at all, and my phone was dead. I had no way of contacting anyone.
That certainly adds up.
Why a bush? Why not a bench or, like, somewhere warmer than a bush?
Well,
Is a bench warmer than a bush?
there's an old saying, you're warmer in a bush than on a bench.
So where was the bush? Paint the picture of the local
It was right
area.
in front of the train station.
Look for a long time for a particularly comfy spot.
I'll level with you, David. The amount of time it took me to decide to sleep in the bush was embarrassingly short.
Right. Was it? Now that does surprise me. It was a quick decision. You've missed your train and you go, right, that's it. 14 seconds later, you're snoring.
Well, I actually didn't get to sleep. It was scary. I was freezing. It was a nice, roomy bush.
Can you remember the shape of the leaves?
Small, little Basingstoke leaf.
Variegated?
OK. You have to explain what that word means. Bigger problems at the time. I wasn't sitting in the bush going, one day, I may have to justify this entire experience on what I like to. I better memorise the leaves and whether they're gentrified or whatever you said.
You're lying there, but it's cold.
Oh, I'm sitting there.
Sitting in the bush.
Sitting there, cross-legged and cold. I had a T-shirt on.
How are you going to go to sleep sitting?
I was scared. It was Friday night in Basingstoke. There were hoodlums around. At one point, some hoodlums stopped outside the bush. They said, you know what we haven't done in a while? We haven't beaten someone up in a while. And I was in the bush, and at the time I was wearing a red dress.
Why? You said you're in a T-shirt.
What?
Originally I was in a T-shirt, and then I had to put a dress on.
Why did you put a dress on?
Why?
It was cold.
Where did you get a dress
I
from?
had it in a bag. I was making a short film, and I had to buy the wardrobe for the cast.
The hoodlums had moved on. They didn't beat you up.
I tricked them. I put the bag over my head.
You seriously put the bag over your head?
This started off so plausible, and now it's just insane.
If they look down and see me wearing a dress, it'll be like Christmas. I put the bag over my head, and now if they look down, they'll think someone's left a bag and a dismembered body in a bush.
Let's go back to the temperature of this bush now.
This guy cannot get over the temperature of the bush.
Surely the jeans and the t-shirt were warmer than a dress. There's a lot
I
of
don't
ventilation.
think. I think
he
to
said
be
he put
fair,
the dress
I
on
don't think
over.
he took the jeans and the t-shirt. By the end of the night, he's wearing the jeans, the t-shirt, the dress, and the bag.
I have to say, it's lucky this didn't happen to Melvin, because if so, he'd have been on a bench wearing a dress and nothing else.
Is he telling the truth?
Yes.
But a man that picks a bush over a bench, I can't trust.
That's his sticking point.
True. I'm believing every element,
Absolutely.
really.
It's true.
At school, I used to regularly pay my friend to clean my rubbers.
Do rubbers have multiple meanings in the UK?
Nobody cleans a
Oh,
rubber.
they get dirty, my friend.
Don't you rub a dirty rubber against a clean piece of paper and it sort of cleans itself?
No, what you're
dirt.
describing is the action of cleaning a rubber.
Rubber.
That's not
Well,
the
if you
same
do
as
that-
it cleans itself. That's like saying, why do you need to clean a car? You just wipe it all over and it cleans itself.
10 years of this kind of bullying.
What was your friend's name?
Edders.
It is.
What?
Edis.
Edders, it's a Turkish name. Well, he did it as like a service to everyone.
How much did you pay him?
Like a pound of rubber.
A pound of rock?
It used to have like a nice smell when you had it back.
you sure it wasn't Eddie's?
Whoa, where was this magical smell coming from?
Well, that's the thing. We didn't know until we got
Did
older.
you never-
He was using like car air freshener to spray it.
Oh,
It was a great
lovely.
service. So if like you were cool if you had a fresh rubber.
But how much would a new rubber have cost?
Probably about 10p.
Yeah. I can't believe you...
I'll
Yes.
treat myself.
And he was
Yeah, getting your rubber detailed.
Nobody makes things anymore. We just provide pointless services. I'm a party planner. I'm a pencil case organiser. I shout on panel shows. We used to make steel.
The thing is, during my one, which was true, I started thinking it was a lie. I actually kind of think it sounds true, but then for that reason, I want to say it's a lie.
You've been a big help, thank you.
I buy everything except the price point.
You're going to say true?
I think the price point's all wrong. It's a lie. It's a
It
lie.
is true.
Those are some gullible school kids.
Please welcome this week's special guest, Mick.
Oh, just a little kid.
This is Mick, and I deliberately tripped him up during the wheelbarrow race at my son's sports day.
Wow.
Child is the wheelbarrow. I was driving my son as a wheelbarrow, and Mick's mum, Barbara, was driving him. People always look at us as if they're the ones to beat. You know, I always feel that added dimension of competitiveness. So we were in the lead, and as we got to the turn, they were level with us, and my son's arm buckled, so now we're behind.
Quite painful for your son as well. Perhaps that should be the main concern.
That's a no-no. We need this.
We got back level with them.
Second is the first loser.
Come on, this is why we've been taking all the drugs.
I stood on his hand. And so, I know.
Deliberately?
Yes.
You were thinking we should take him out.
So I decided that I couldn't let us win because that could be construed in some
that's
people's
the
eyes
lie
as
right
cheating.
there.
And in some people's eyes, physical assault.
So I deliberately kind of pushed my son into the ground.
So you assaulted two children.
Kind of just, pretended to trip onto Reuben. So, and then his arms buckled, double buckle, which is a no.
This is Mick, and for 6 months, he was my sworn enemy when a practical joke got out of hand. First of all, I'll say for the record, before we carry on, I hate this boy. I'm nothing but content for him, and I'm furious he's got on this show.
What was the practical joke, James?
He put cabbage leaves in my bed.
How did he get in your room?
I was staying at his house, but I know his dad He's his son.
Why did he put cabbage leaves? Why is that a thing?
Well, it's not a thing until he started doing it.
Yeah.
There's something severely wrong with him.
What do you mean? This is a one occasion when you're staying there. Well,
This is the first of many, David. I said got out of hand. I do not use those words lightly. This little man does not restrict these pranks to his own house. He has no respect for anyone's privacy and will cross any boundaries available to him. I hate him with all my heart.
Yeah. Subsequently,
yes,
he has followed you and put cabbage leaves in other places you've been sleeping.
No, he sent me a cabbage in the post. He sent me half a cabbage, cling filmed, in a box. I was out when they delivered it. I'd gone to the post office to pick it up. Note inside that said, "You got cabbaged again."
Did you, bearing in mind that this is a minor, did you at any...
It was a major as far as I'm
Did you at any point retaliate?
Yeah, but it took me 6 months.
But you say 6 months of this.
Yeah.
What is this? There's anything else?
His granddad cabbaged me to my face.
What does that mean?
He gave me a present. It was all wrapped up nice. I thought it was a nice present. I unwrapped it. It was another half a cabbage wrapped in cling film. Members of the public started cabbaging me. I made the mistake of talking about it on the radio, and then everyone got the idea, and I couldn't turn up to a gig without there being a cabbage hidden somewhere in my dressing room. I removed all of his belongings from his bedroom and replaced them with cabbages.
A disproportionate response.
6 months of my life, David. 6 months of my life of not knowing where the next cabbage was coming from. It was horrible. It was horrible.
And that was just the tip of the iceberg.
Anyone who can enjoy that joke about a lettuce would have to be a sociopath.
This is Mick, he's my son, and I'm only allowed to see him every second Friday. Sorry, no, that's not it. This is Mick. I once took him home from nursery instead of my own son.
No.
Why did you not recognise your own son by using your eyes and knowing what he looks like?
I put him in the pushchair, and then I got chatting to all the other mums and dads and stuff. Got chatting, turned round. Little did I realise that one of the other parents had exactly the same pushchair. Pushed him and got all the way home. Long walk as well, because he goes to school in London and we live in Aberdeen.
How long was it before you realised?
Probably Glasgow. Believe it or not, preferably do.
Yeah, that's very much the question.
And I pushed him towards my wife, and she said, "That is not my son." I turned round and I raced back to the school very quickly. So I got in just in time for them to go, "What are you?" He was getting a bit frantic, but someone had calmed her down by doing the obvious and pointing to the child and saying, use your logic here.
Yeah,
there's a
child abductors don't tend to leave a child as well.
Is Mick Gabby's cheated child?
Maybe.
James's feuding friend?
Yes.
Maybe. Or Lee's traded toddler?
I buy the cabbage.
I believe Gabby, but James is just weird, so I believe him even more.
Every time people laugh at me, I suspect they're my enemy, which makes my job very difficult.
Yeah, go for the cabbages.
I'm Mick, and I am James's worst enemy.
That's awesome.
Here's the proof that...
Wow. Brussels sprouts and everything. Wow, that's awesome.
I recently ended up in A&E after attempting to use a sledgehammer to crack a nut.
A&E is what we call the ER, right? We call it the emergency room. What does it stand for in the UK? A&E. Or is it the ANE?
Why did you have a sledgehammer in the kitchen?
Well, it was, but the...
Ah!
I didn't.
Oh, so it's not true?
This didn't happen.
Oh, okay. We broke in quickly tonight, didn't we?
This didn't happen at my house.
Where did it happen?
At my parents'
So, can you tell us the colour of the kitchen surface in your parents' house?
brown.
Brown. Was it
Brown.
Is it a wooden?
No, it's
Does it look like a tree but flat?
There's a walnut in your parents' house.
There is.
There's a sledgehammer.
Why? Is the sledge?
What parent doesn't have a nutcracker?
We couldn't find any nutcrackers.
Well, your parents
rem-
your parents were witnessing this.
Yes, I wasn't on my own in my parents' house smashing away.
No
at my
one leaves
hand.
him unattended.
I'd cracked a few nuts with this sledgehammer, and then maybe I got a bit cocky, and I left my thumb in the way. It was carnage.
The thumb. Can we have a look?
Absolutely no visible scar.
What a credit to our National Health Service, ladies.
It's got to be a lie.
That man not only has not hit himself in the thumb with a sledgehammer, but I don't think he's picked up anything in weeks.
It is a lie.
And I can reveal that it's a draw. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Good night.
That was a strong debut. Well done to James. Two good stories. The cabbage story in particular. I know he's got this persona as, you know, an angry young man, but I legitimately feel like he was in a serious practical joke war with a 12-year-old boy for 6 months or longer. And I can only imagine that this episode fueled it for another year. Like, does he still get cabbages at his live shows to this day? I wouldn't be surprised. And nice little shout out to Basingstoke in his first story. Yeah, my parents actually lived in Basingstoke for a couple of years. They both went to school in the UK. My father in Glasgow, my mother in London. And when they got married, they lived in Basingstoke for a couple of years before moving back home to Vancouver. And yeah, there you go. I feel like, you know, this episode took place in my prenatal backyard. What a strong debut from Acaster. I'm definitely going to look out for more of his episodes. I guess there's not going to be too many because there's only a few series following this. But I definitely look forward to seeing those and seeing more of his wacky stories. I also understand he's got a best-selling book, which is more just crazy stories from his life. So, you know, maybe he's the next Bob Mortimer of sorts. But yeah, what a fun episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me and following along. If you guys do like what I'm doing here, please consider leaving a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. That way you won't miss any of these as I continue to do them. And until next time, guys, take care, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.